hour number 7 of virtual meetings today. So I totally feel you, Susan.
Joy.
I started at 8 a.m. and I got a lunch break, and then there was 1 hour where I had time to prepare for a meeting.
That's too much. We have, oh, there we go. We made it to 6:30. And so we have a quorum. So I will call this meeting to order. Welcome to the June 23rd regular board meeting of the Pullman School Board. We always begin our meetings with a Pledge of Allegiance. And Bob, once again, since you're hanging out with the flag, could you please lead us? Thank you.
Be happy to. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice
for
for all. Thank you, sir. The next order of business is usually it still is the approval of the agenda. There aren't any changes. There was one update to the executive session.
Yeah, there were 2 updates. That was negotiations was added to the exec session, and there was an addendum to the personnel report, and that was added under the consent agenda.
Thank you. All right, so I will eagerly await a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
So moved.
Oh, thank you. Is there a second? All right, thank you so much. It's been moved and stated that we do approve the agenda this evening. All those please signify with a thumbs up. Any opposed? Thank you. All right, so now we'll go down to reports, superintendent's report, equity update, and we'll start with board reports. Mr. Roberts, you have a report today.
Other than just wanting to say, congratulations to all of our graduates, and just what a wonderful graduation that was. And it was so nice to see people again and be in a group. And, honestly, I just really enjoyed graduation, and otherwise nothing to report.
Thank you. Ditto on that. Okay, and Allison, do you have a report?
Well, I'll just, in a similar vein, say how much I enjoyed the end of the year celebration. Even though it was virtual and was not in person, I thought it really maximized a lot of neat virtual features and things. And something I really appreciated about it that I've never seen us do before was have buildings and departments celebrate other buildings and departments, which just kind of contributes to high morale all the way around. I thought it was an excellent way to end the year. And then I'm wondering if anybody else went to the webinar today.
I did.
Oh, okay. Are you going to talk about that, Susan?
No, you can go right ahead.
Well, if you were planning to talk about it, I'll let you.
No, I wasn't. I was just going to mention that it was there. And
okay.
But that's it.
Yeah, because it was a webinar, I didn't have any way of knowing who all was there, but it appears that Susan and Bob were both there. And it was an excellent webinar put on by WASA and WASDA. And the presenters were very familiar to us, Trisha and Jay Marie. So it was kind of nice to hear information coming from people that we have a close working relationship with, and really kind of went over the basics of this engrossed Senate Bill 5044, what it is and what it isn't, in a helpful way, and described, I guess, the training that that school boards will be getting, which is similar to open government training. It sounds like it's the training will just be put on by WASDA and delivered through the onboard method. So I thought it was very interesting. I'm looking forward to learning more. I do have all of the handouts. If anyone is interested, I can forward those along. So that's all. Thanks.
Thank you, Allison.
Could I get one of those, please, Allison?
Sure. I have one too, if you want. I will add to Allison's report as my report, and that the webinar was on equity in a divided community. So it was talking about equity, and that is what the bill is about. So in case you were wondering, that's that. All right. And Dr. Everman. a report tonight?
I don't have a report, but I would love to get a copy of your notes, Susan, on equity.
Okay. I really didn't take many notes, but I do have I have all the handouts, and I can certainly print them up and put them in your box at the school, the district office. Okay?
Thank
And I
you.
will for you too, Nathan.
Thank you.
All right. So that was I did my report before Jim's got his report in, and now we're all done with those, unless Amanda has joined us.
No.
Okay, then we'll go to the superintendent's report.
Well, thank you, Susan. So two things I'll mention tonight. Construction is progressing well for the Whitman County Transportation Cooperative and the Lincoln Middle School expansion and remodel. I did send you all an update regarding the HVAC system. So it's progressing. We're having a few little difficulties, but we should be able to overcome those by fall. So construction continues to go well. Other than that, summer school, I went out and spent some time at the elementary summer school today and talked with quite a few students, and they reported they were having a great time and that it was awesome. So rarely have I heard summer school referred to as being awesome, and they're having a great time, but several students reported that, and it was great to see the students learning and enjoying summer school. That concludes my report.
Wow. Okay, so now we'll go into the equity update. Do you want to talk some more about today's webinar?
Well, that's what I was going to talk about, but again, yeah, I have the handouts as well, but it's ESSB 5044. So that was a bill passed by the state legislature, and it's regarding increasing equity, diversity, inclusion, anti-racism, and cultural competency. And so more information will be coming, and training that is required not only for all school district employees, but school board members as well. So there were some great, what they call tips, and some great talking points for board members. So we'll get those out to all the board members if you did not attend, because there's some great resources. So that concludes my equity report.
Thank you. Well, next is the visitor section. And as previously reported by Courtney, we do not have any visitors. If you wish to be a visitor and have some comments you would like to deliver to the board, all you have to do is sign up. We have a virtual sign-in sheet, and we call your name as you sign in, first come, first serve. And it's pretty easy, and we'd love to hear from you. So that is the visitor section. You can be a visitor. Next is the consent agenda. To expedite business at a board meeting, the board approves the use of a consent agenda, which includes items considered to be routine in nature. Any item which appears on the consent agenda may be removed from the consent agenda by a member of the board and voted on separately. The remaining items will be voted on by a single motion. Minutes, personnel report, warrants, transfer request, record destruction logs, budget report. One of the things on the personnel report that I will add is that Matt Fluster has resigned, and he is moving to the west side. So I know he's been around the district for a very long time because he taught my youngest son math and that sort of thing. So he will be missed, and I just personally want to wish him well. So there we go. Next, the consent agenda. I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that we do approve the consent agenda this evening. All those in favor, please signify by an eye or a thumbs up. There we are. Thank you. All right. Since there are no one to put a thumbs down, we're all set on that one. And we'll get to action items. And this is Dr. Monchritolo's turn. And this is talking about the Pioneer Center Historic Designation. Allison, you're on.
All right. Thank you, Susan. Well, this concept hasn't changed at all, and I thought we had a really good conversation about it at the last meeting. So at this point, if you have any other thoughts or questions about how to proceed, I'm kind of thinking in the back of my head that maybe a good approach to this would be to go ahead and prepare the resolution that authorizes the superintendent to sign on behalf of the district. And that way we could just have that ready to go, so that there wouldn't be any administrative delay in the background. Once the nomination was ready, it would just be ready to go and could be folded into the packet. So that's just an idea in my head. Assuming we vote to approve this, that might be a next kind of logical step, is to come back with a resolution that meets the needs to proceed with this. So any other?
I'm amazed the amount of work that is required for this. Just mind-boggling. The research and history. I mean, it's fascinating, but that's a lot of work.
It is, and most property owners enlist the services of a professional consultant to prepare something like this. In the case of a public property, we've had several public properties added to the local register, and those tend to be more volunteer efforts because it's a public property and it benefits the public at large. And so that's what I expect, is that when Ned and I can turn around and bring this to the Historic Preservation Commission, I expect that we'll get some volunteers who will say, sign me up for this work, even though it is, a lot of volunteer work and research and so forth, that people will be really enthused and will want to contribute to it.
That's pretty exciting. So
Yeah.
Thank you very much for spearheading this.
Oh, my pleasure.
And
Allison, I had a question.
Uh-huh.
Would this be our first Pullman School District building on the public historic registry?
Absolutely. The Pullman's Historic Preservation Commission is about 10 years old, and we have, I think, approximately 15 properties so far on the local register of historic places. So not a lot. It takes, there's a few each year added. We have 2 other public properties. One is the War Memorial down in front of the Brailsford Visitor Center, the obelisk. That is on the Pullman register. And the other are some brick paved streets on College Hill that are also on the local register of historic places.
Yeah.
So this would actually be the first public building on the Pullman register.
Well, here we are. Trends.
Well, that's what I thought. In fact, I toured the building earlier this week.
Oh, nice.
I'm starting to get excited about this. So thank you very much.
Bet.
And just to clarify, we all are in agreement that the entire building should be submitted, or because I know there was a question of doing just the older portion, and I personally am for the whole building, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody was good with that.
And I have a clarification on that part too. The building would be nominated. A building is a building. It's a kind of a matter of how you want to phrase whether the addition is contributing
To
historic.
the historical significance.
Yeah,
versus
you can't not have it be listed, but it's a matter of kind of in phrasing how strict you want to be about that contributing. But it would be, the building as a whole would be nominated.
Okay.
So I think Ned's opinion, he seemed pretty clear to me that he really believed that the entirety had historic significance, and I would tend to agree with that. Unless somebody has strong reservations or sees, some reason not to do that, I think that would probably be the way to go.
Okay.
But that can be clarified later too. I can give everyone an opportunity to review the nomination that is prepared.
Thank you.
So are you ready to move on this? I make a motion that we approve the listing of the district facility on the historic registry.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that we do approve allowing the listing of the district's administrative office building for the Pullman Register of Historic Places. And we will prepare a board resolution indicating written owner consent for this action. Would that work for you as a motion, Jim?
Very much so.
Thank you, because that would include Allison's writing of the resolution. So that would be great. All right, it's been moved and seconded that we do approve. Is there any other comment or questions?
Just a kudos to Allison and Ned. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing amount of work. So
Yeah.
Thank you. You're right, Jim. All right, then I will call for a vote. All in favor, please signify with a thumbs up. There we go. All right, we got it passed. So thank you, Allison, and I'll let you now get to work on the resolution. Lucky.
All right, thank you, colleagues.
Okay. Next is discussion items. These are presented to the board for discussion. If they need action, they will be brought back to the board at our next meeting for action. Our first one is transportation and maintenance fuel bid, and our presenter is Dr. Maxwell.
Thank you very much. So this is familiar to all of you. So every 3 years, the district goes out to bid for unleaded gas and number 2 diesel fuel to supply district vehicles and buses. So we've completed the notification process, and the sealed bids were open June 1st at 10 a.m. We went with the lowest bidder and the only bidder that's been identified in the information that's part of this packet. So this bid is only for the purchase of fuel at the vendor provided point of sale fueling station. This does not include a bulk purchase of fuel for the fueling station, which we will have eventually at the new transportation facility that is scheduled to open September 2021.
So have we dealt with this provider before?
Yes, we have.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we can approve in confidence if.
We haven't had no issues.
Well, good. All right. Does anybody have any further questions of Dr. Maxwell about this? I guess one way or another, we need to get those buses rolling. So
Yep.
there we go. All right. So thank you. Next is the prime vendor contract renewal. And again, Dr. Maxwell.
Well, again, this is something that we've done for the past few years anyways. Pullman School District, we benefit from a local interlocal agreement with the Spokane Public School District, number 81. So it's a co-op, which allows Pullman School District to receive the same food prices negotiated by the Spokane School District. So this is US Foods is in agreement to exercise the option for renewal. So this would be a renewal for the 21-22 school year as the prime vendor contractor for grocery, bread, and produce. This will still allow us to buy locally, which we've been doing more of. But again, this gives us more flexibility for purchasing foods at a good price.
All right. That was it's kind of a beneficial little agreement we have with Spokane. Worked out well. So
Any
thank you.
questions? Okay.
All right, next is photography services.
Thank you. And again, this is the same process that we typically use every 3 years. We solicit, RFPs to provide photography services to the school district. So there were proposals submitted by 4 vendors. A committee of 5 people evaluated each of the proposal based on price, quality, customer service, vendor capacity, responsiveness, cost of additional services, and miscellaneous. So the committee of 5 was unanimous in their first choice as a vendor, which is Leo's Photography, and that would be for the 2021 through 2023 school year.
Okay, well, yeah, good. Any questions by the board? Any comments, discussion? Okay, thank you. I know Leo's has been around for quite a while. All right, next is policy 3200, rights and responsibilities, and Dr. Kramer.
Okay, so with that new and improved version of 3241, it is now appropriate to delete 3200. 3200 has been a long-standing policy. Like I've never operated without it, and but it has all been incorporated into 3241, so it is appropriate at this point for us to delete it.
Thank you. Are there any questions about this? Allison?
Yeah, just kind of wondering, since our student handbooks reference 3200, does somebody now have the task of going? Okay. So might as well get started with that. That's going to be a big job. But
Yeah, all
okay.
reference to 3200 will be deleted.
All right, thank you.
Will 3241 take its place, or that you're just deleting the 3200 policy?
3241 has been enhanced to include some of the things that 3200 always included.
So like in the student handbook, then would you replace 3200 with 3241, or you're just going to delete them all? And
We'll replace it with 3241.
okay. All right. Thank you. Just trying to clarify. All right. Thank you. Next is policy 3241, of which we have been speaking, and it's regarding student discipline.
So we started to make this transition in 2018 as a district, and now we're finally, this is kind of like the culmination of this whole process as we've moved forward. And it's really the whole shift from a punitive system of discipline to a restorative and learning system of discipline. And with that is the removal of 3200. And what 3241 now includes are all the components that may have still been appropriate to have in 3200 that are part of 3241. But it's really about best practice. And I'm very comfortable with where we are as a system because we started to make the changes right away related to 3241. So I feel very good about where we are. And I think it totally aligns with a best practice system. So it does include a lot more about family and student engagement, which is a very healthy thing to include. Due process is outlined. Due process was always important before as well. Focus on continued learning for students as as they might be impacted by imposition of suspension or expulsion. And in the past, we didn't continue that instructional component. We are required to disaggregate our data, and similar to what we have done in the past, but this requirement is included in the most recent updates. And it's really important that we don't just move straight to classroom exclusion or suspension, but instead we are going to really look for what else have we done in prior to getting to that point. So it is much healthier for us as a system.
Thank you. Any questions of Roberta? Well, we will talk about this at our next meeting. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And that pretty much concludes what our agenda is all about. The rest of the items that you see here are just administrative updates and reports to the board. So, except Nathan, it is your turn to do the audit, the voucher audits this month. And then, oh shoot, I wrote it down and now I don't have it. Wait a minute, maybe I do. Who gets to write for the community update? You were July, Nathan, and Jim is for August. So that's just a little reminder there for you.
Oh, wait, so I turned mine in already, so I think it's you. If I just caught a peek at the schedule, Susan.
No, it's for the community update. No, that was June. And you just turned in for July. So Jim has this July to turn in for August.
Oh, there it was. That was the, yeah, okay, that was the voucher audit schedule. I was
Oh, yeah, you're talking about the voucher
Yeah.
audit. No, I follow you on voucher audits. So that's my job in July. All right, thank you. We will adjourn into an executive session for the superintendent or personnel evaluation for the superintendent end of the year, and also some negotiations updates. It should only be about
20 minutes.
20 minutes, the magic number, and no action will be taken, and we'll come back to simply adjourn the meeting. So, thank you.